I am teacher Ellie, and this is my teaching philosophy. I aspire to become an English educator, which means I will instruct my students in the English language and literature, as well as the fundamental English abilities such as reading, writing, and speaking. However, it will not be a simple journey since I will communicate with diverse learners with their own learning styles and levels. Because each student is unique and excel in different skills, abilities, and passions at various stages, I believe that it is essential to employ the teaching approach that is most compatible with their preferred learning style. This challenge necessitates that I devise strategies to efficiently do my duties and offer them the quality education they deserve. Consequently, it is necessary to develop a teaching philosophy for my objectives for student learning, my teaching methods, measurements for assessing efficacy of my mediums, and the procedure for developing inclusive education. Teaching and learning are gardening and farm making, in which educators are the gardeners and farm makers, and the students are plants and torches. Educators water and nourish students with wisdom and experiences. They take good care of the students so they can grow according to what kind of plants they are until they bloom. The effort, sacrifices, and additional knowledge teachers provide are the soil fertilizers which are excellent for growing wonderful and healthy flowers. The opportunities teachers provide are the sun of each student that enlightens them to the real world and how their journey of being students could assist them in facing global challenges. At the same time, teachers are fire makers that put students through challenges and hardships and scratches them to the rough face of being a student until they heat up and create the fire. The fire signifies their burning passion and how inspired and motivated they are to reach their ambition as they mature. It is an excellent feeling that will encourage them to come out of their comfort zones and enjoy the world's diversity. For my objectives for student learning, I aspire for my future students to develop their communication, problem solving, and critical and analytical thinking skills. I look forward to enhancing their creativity, adaptability, collaboration, reasoning, memorization, ethics, judgment skill, and social duty awareness. Also, I strive to amplify their self-esteem, confidence, resiliency, diligence, and organizational abilities. However, each skill, knowledge, and attitude may be acquired based on the growth level of each learner. They cannot achieve this all in one session or year because it requires time, effort, and experience to attain the skills, wisdom, and values gradually. In addition, the major challenge to reaching this goal is how to quickly convey this to my students through lessons, activities, and assessments. In one session, at least one goal must be secured to be accomplished, and it is challenging to ensure that all students in a classroom can discover or develop one skill. This is why I need to be critical in selecting teaching methods that will best meet the requirements of my students. I will utilize student-centered approach and interactive or participative approach. I will also employ small group instruction, differentiated instruction, project-based learning, inquiry-based learning, cooperative learning, experiential learning, and expeditionary learning. Since I want to focus on providing my students with the education that best suits their learning methods, the student-centered approach will enable me to help them learn more effectively and be more engaged. That is because their learning process is tailored to how they will best acquire new information. Also, they will be able to develop a sense of responsibility. However, this approach appears to limit students' opportunities to explore other skills and abilities. Therefore, I will also use the interactive or participative approach. In this way, they will be introduced to new ideas, be involved in matters other than their own personal life and development, and be more receptive and perceptive. The instruction and learning goals I have outlined will assist me to help learners communicate and collaborate with others, get the instructions they can grasp, become more creative and resourceful, and become more critical and analytical with the information they observe and acquire. Also, those methodologies will help them be more curious and conscious of what they see and experience in their daily lives, be able to share their prior knowledge, be introduced to outside of school experiences, and be more aware of different facilities, organizations, and places that make up the city and nation. These goals appear overwhelming, in which determining if these are all successful and attained is another challenge to overcome. I believe I will be able to determine if my goals for students are being reached through the assessments and activities I will conduct. Their responses and works could help me assimilate if they learned from me and if they were able to activate or develop some skills, abilities, and attitudes during and after the session. Some of the assessment tools I could use are discussion forums, quizzes, exams, portfolios, concept maps, oral presentations or reporting, peer review, written reports, journals, projects, and concept tests like those in Kahoot, quizzes, and Google Forms. These are excellent tools for identifying what they have acquired, how much growth they have achieved, and for improving their learning attitudes. These activities will assist them in broadening their experiences and developing their memorization, reasoning, sound judgment skills, and social responsibility awareness, primarily when tasked with practical research about their community. In addition, these assessments will help the students strengthen their discipline in learning. Sometimes, learners will still not take education seriously despite meeting their requirements. So these assessments could encourage them to accelerate and be prepared with the necessary knowledge and experience to pass a subject, or they will need to undergo the same procedure. They will be motivated to take this seriously since it will also aid them in overcoming life's challenges. So other than these matters, there is still one more essential concern. How will I be able to create an inclusive education with learners who have different races, gender, backgrounds, and life status? The diversity of identities among students inside the classroom creates a barrier to communication. It hinders them from having friends, doing group works, from learning, and even from developing. And it is another major challenge for me as an educator who aims for inclusive education. With that, I should first identify my students' identities and locate who among them is vulnerable to estrangement and who is not. Next is to properly introduce each student and explain their differences as learners. Then set rules and regulations inside the classroom to prevent future misunderstanding between each learner, in which they will learn how to respect and support each other despite their differences. No one should be left behind just because they're different. In addition, I should give activities that will unite them more, like group activities, sharing of reflections, and games. They might be more transparent about themselves and exhibit other skills. During this time, inclusive or participative approach, small group instruction, and cooperative learning occur. Finally, as a moderator, I should never cease monitoring them individually and collectively. I should be able to uphold the class objectives and rules I implemented. In final statement, as an English educator and moderator, it is my responsibility to ensure that my students are learning from me, from others, and from themselves. They must be able to attain the fundamental English abilities and possess it even in the future. Their development as learners and individuals is my top priority. I must assist them in maintaining their motivation, inspiration, creativity, and diligence. Allow them to comprehend how life works, how life influences their academics, how emotions affect their development, and how others affect them as individuals. Diversity is inevitable. Imparting information to students is not just about curriculum-based teaching, but instead, there are various procedures, mediums, and approaches that help students in developing inside the classroom. As a future educator, I have yet to implement these teaching methods and assessment tools to my students. And forever, I strive to effectively impart information, experience, and a positive attitude to learners. Once again, I am Teacher Ellie, and this is my teaching philosophy.